Let us start with a quick recalibration and a short prayer. So if your legs are crossed, uncross your legs for a moment and sit up really tall and close your eyes. Exhale all the breath out of your lungs. Inhale, lift up through your belly, through your sternum. Exhale, move your shoulders down your back, away from your ears, and lift up through the crown of your head. And now that you're sitting up tall, take a big breath in and feel your breath bringing in light with it. From the crown of your head all the way along your spine, down to the bottom of your pelvis. And as you exhale, feel that breath go, that light go from the bottom of your pelvis all the way up to the crown of your head. Inhale as if you're bringing in the light from the top of your head, through your head, shoulders, chest, belly, pelvis, all the way down to your feet now, to the center of the earth. And then exhale the breath, the light is going through the earth, through your body, all the way up to the sky above you. Do that a few more times. And as you breathe deeply and as you envision the light filling up every single cell in your body with light, you can ask for the healing. You can ask for strength, protection, guidance, wisdom, blessing. And I ask that the words that I say today, the message that I share with you today, it's a very important message about the energy of money and success in business. Let this message be heard in the most correct way, in the way it needs to be heard, so that everybody who hears this prayer hears the words just in the perfect way, the way they need to be heard, about this very, very important energy in our lives, the energy of wealth, prosperity, abundance, money. Thank you. I hope. All right, so you can open your eyes. So today I want to start with a fun little experiment or an exercise. The way our brain works is really fascinating. We can store information pretty well. Most of us have no problem storing the information. The problem that we experience is actually recalling that information when we need it. Believe it or not, everything that we've covered in this course up to date, your brain stored it on some level somewhere. And the challenge becomes that we may not necessarily are able to retrieve that information or recall that information. So today I just want to remind you what we've covered so far in this course. And we started with 4 stages of spiritual development. Who remembers what those stages are? You can type them up in the chat if you want. So the stages of spiritual development is victim, where unfortunately most of people live. We dwell in the victim mindset. And then gradually we evolve into the manifestor mindset, when we realize that we actually have all the power, regardless of circumstances, regardless of what has happened in the past. We have the power to shape our reality. We are the creators of our lives. We actually get to co-create with the divine all the time. After that, the 3rd stage is when you realize that we are all a channel, a vessel for the divine, right? For that universal power. And the work is to surrender. And this is ultimately what yoga teaches us: surrender. Do all these things, right? Do meditation, do asana, do breath work, do self-inquiry, fast and do all of that, or you can simply surrender. But as we all know, surrendering may not be that easy. And then the final stage is when you remember that ultimately we're all one. We're all one, and we're not only that, but we're one with the divine. We also talked about how manifesting is actually a science as well as it's an art, right? A science meaning there is a recipe. There is a blueprint that you can follow. And the blueprint, the recipe can be all these things that we've already done. I've sent you the instructions, the recipe, so to speak. There are the universal laws that guide this world, our material reality. And at the same time, even though it's a science, on the other hand, it's art because it's uniquely yours. You get to see the world through your unique perception, right? You have your unique gifts, you have your unique talents, you have your intuition, your inner hearing and inner guidance. And the message that I'm here to deliver, that manifesting and creating the life of your dreams, co-creating with the universe, shaping your destiny is both. One foot in spirituality, one foot in reality. And what I've also said last time is that even though most people believe that they start with like the physical, we start with doing stuff, which is, it's, the truth is it's counterintuitive. It is much more powerful to actually do all the energy, all the spirit work before you go into the hustling and doing stuff. I've shared with you mind gems, where you activate different parts of your body, you clear anything that needs to be cleared, any glitching, any energy, memories that are not serving you, so that you can fully step into your power, into your innate gifts. We talked about the muscle test, or how you can do it on your own, right? On your own body. We did the magic of the power of I am exercise, and you've got those instructions. We've talked about Ho'oponopono and how you can use it as a clearing tool, but also as a really powerful manifesting tool. You got to experience and do a miracle integration together with Whitney. We talked about the fundamentals of coaching. Even though I talked about these fundamentals in the context of coaching, you can actually use these fundamentals interacting with anybody, your coworkers, your family, your friends, and also in the process of life, in the process of creation, whatever it is that you want to create in your life. And those were, always ground down through a meditation or mind gems or prayer or any process that you use in your life that helps you ground down and connect with your intuition, with your gut feeling, your inner hearing. Well, the next one is actually always navigate with inner hearing, not only when you're coaching somebody, but also as you walk through your life, always listen and obey your intuition. Because when you navigate through inner hearing, when you obey your intuition, you step into that, what I call the divine flow of life, when you are dancing that beautiful dance with the happy face, right? And then in the divine flow of life, everything happens with effortless ease. This is when you get to experience moments of synchronicity, miracles. You walk through life and things just happen with ease. That's not to say that bad things will never happen to you. Bad things will happen to all of us, right? All bad things happen to all of us, and what we make out of those bad things. Ultimately, it is my deepest belief that life always happens for me, not to me. And even my challenges, even the bad things are there by divine design so that I can learn from those experiences, so that I can grow, expand, get stronger, wiser, better. Okay, so we talked about the happy phase, we talked about the unhappy phase, because ultimately everything in this universe, the base of this universe is the universal law of polarity: happy phase, unhappy phase, action, reaction, right? And today I was watering the garden. We have a huge garden here at Blue Sky in Taos, and I was listening to Carolyn Myss. She's actually in your recommended reading. And she does this online retreat about spirituality and God. And she talks about how everything in this universe is perfect. There is nothing in this world that is by mistake. Everything is perfect. And ultimately, what she was talking about is the law of action and reaction. When something bad happens, the universe will always, something else is going to happen to counteract that. This is how this world works. And she talks about seasonality, like we talked about last time on our call, different seasons in life, different seasons in relationships, in your business. After winter, there will always be spring. Always, always, always. So it's never going to be all bad and terrible and hard. After winter, there will always be spring. Eileen, after grief and sadness, there will always be joy. This is how this world works. And this world is always, always perfect. Your body is innately intelligent, right? If you listen, if you feel your visceral reactions, if you, instead of overriding it, if you train that muscle of truly listening to your body and feeling your body is innately intelligent, and your body will always lead you in the right direction. So when you are in the flow, so to speak, when you're connected to love and light, when you're co-creating with the universe, with the divine, with God, it will always feel like an expansion. And whenever you're dancing with the happy face God, it feels like an expansion in the body. Whenever you're dancing with the unhappy face God, it feels like a contraction. Your words create your worlds. So be very mindful and create awareness around the words that you're choosing. Ask for guidance, ask for help. Your power comes from wholeness, meaning 100% whole. And we also talked about how 99% equals 0. So always go for that 100% whole feeling. If you're working with a client, if you are talking to your coworkers, with your employees, if you're creating something, like today we're going to talk about the business, we're going to talk about business and what it means to be a spiritual entrepreneur. So whenever you're creating something, which is incredibly vulnerable process, when you're creating a sales page, when you are telling the world about your offering, it's a very, very scary and vulnerable place. So before you go into that place of telling the world, check within yourself, am I 100% whole with my creation? Once you are 100%, then go to the next step. Okay, so your power comes from wholeness. We talked about above the line and below the line, right? Above the line feels like expansion. Above the line, you're connected to the happy face. Above the line, you are stepping into the divine flow of life. You want to create your vision and goals from the place above the line. Above the line, you're 100% whole. Below the line, you're dancing with the unhappy face, God, which is just as powerful as the happy face. This is a place where you feel contraction. This is a place where you're moving away from the light. And whenever you create anything from the place below the line, it's a place, it's created from the place of that dance with the unhappy face, God. Ultimately, it's going to be very difficult for you to manifest that dream into your reality. So, and you can navigate through these interesting territories, right? These curious places by listening and obeying your intuition, right? And the more you do, just like this muscle, the more you lift weights, your arms get stronger. So your intuition, the more you listen to it, it can be strengthened because you were born, it's your innate God-given gift. You were born with it. And lastly, on our last call on Monday, we did this amazing process of integrating your 4 archetypes. So the archetypes are your warrior, your magician, your lover, and your sovereign. And whenever you activate all of them. And you can activate different parts of yourself. Sometimes you need a warrior to go into the battle and find your way to victory. Sometimes you need a playful magician that makes things happen with effortless ease. Sometimes you need that queen, that king in you to come step up and make a difficult decision. And ultimately, when you integrate all 4 archetypes within you, that's when you step into the fullness of your power. That's when it's not only your warrior who does all the work, your warrior has the help of your entire team. So right now, I would like to give you 5 minutes to quickly write down your biggest learnings from this course so far. Remember, the problem is not storing the information in your brain. The challenge, rather, not a problem, the challenge is recalling that knowledge, that information whenever it's needed. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write down really quickly, what are your biggest learnings so far? Maybe you've had really big epiphanies. So take a moment right now to write them down.